Hi guys, and welcome to Albie's Aviary Build. Now I'm sending this video because I've wanted for years to build my own aviary, and obviously not having much money, I'm trying to find the cheapest possible way to do it. There are things, unfortunately, that you have to buy to keep the birds safe. So I'm sending this video because obviously I've looked at other videos to give me tips, and hopefully this will help you to build yours if you're going to do one. And hopefully in the comments, leave comments below for tips for myself, because I'm just a basic beginner. I've done a lot of research, excuse me, into birds and things like that. So basically I'm just going to show you how I started off. And this is basically how it started off. So first of all, I done my plan. Now this is for the outdoor. So what I've basically done is that I got an outdoor aviary. And then it's going to be coming into this. I'm lucky enough to have a really big concrete shed. So what I've done is moved everything out of this area. My aviary is going to be coming, I don't know if you can see, from here to the wall. So we're looking at roughly 6 by 8 foot inside. So the hole to the aviary to the outdoor will be coming through. I've done a test hole here. So I'll have obviously a bigger hole for the birds to come in and out. So, because I'm lucky enough to have, obviously, shelter for the indoors, it's going to save a lot of money in building roofs, what have you, and separating the aviary. And that then will give the aviary more space for them outside. Now, outside, I've done it roughly about 12 foot by 6 foot. Inside here, it's roughly, as I said, 8 foot by 6 foot. So that should be plenty of room. I don't know how many birds I'm going to get yet. I do know what kind of birds I'm going to get. So anyway, I started off by obviously doing a plan. Now this is for the outdoor. Now, as you can see, I've done a rough sketch, as into the sizes I want, how much timber I'm going to need, obviously the mesh in. Now, because I want to keep finches, I've kept the mesh into 1/2 inch. That will stop rats and rodents, any rodents getting in, and obviously the birds not escaping. So as you can see, I've done 2 doors. So obviously every part of the aviary you build, you have to have 2 doors for to close one door behind you to open another one to stop the birds from flying out. So it's just a lot of things I'm going to say. It's probably common sense to you. Maybe you haven't heard of it before and I'm helping you out. Hopefully I am. If not, as I said, leave tips for me in the comments below, please. And then obviously I can answer them and obviously change things if I need to change things. So basically, as I said, I've done the sketch here on paper. And then what I went out there and bought a load of, now obviously I've only done the outdoor, which I obviously show you later on. And I went and bought 2 by 2 timber. Now I looked everywhere to get the cheapest timber I could. And apparently I've been told if you go to hardware stores and garden centres, you should be able to get them cheaper if you buy them more in bulk. But I didn't learn the hard way. I went to a local DIY store and I bought them in 2.4 metre lengths. And what I did then is just bought these off Amazon. They come in a pack of 20 and I think they cost me £4 odd for a pack of 20. And what I do with them, just put on one on each corner of any joint just to give it extra strength. And then because they 2 by 2s, I'd obviously use like a 3-inch nail, then a screw, to strengthen it then on the side. So that's basically all I did to put the joints together. Now, obviously, the easiest way to do it is to build a panel. I should have shown you from the very beginning, but I've already done the outdoor, nearly finished it, so I'll show you that in a minute. I'll show you how I put the panels together and everything else that I did. The mesh that I bought online, I think I bought a 25 metre roll. It cost me about £65 for a 25 metre roll. Now, that's nearly all gone because of the outside space that I've done. So it's quite a large area outside, so this is why I've used a lot of mesh. Indoor, I should only have to now spend about another £20 on mesh, just to give me enough to finish what I need to in here, inside the shed. So with the timber, I think it cost me £21 for 4 lengths of 2 by 4. That more or less gave me 2 panels worth. So you can imagine a big area. As I said, I'll show you outside in a minute, a bit large area. And how much wood, you add it up, how much wood I've had, it's come to at least £200-300 already. I obviously wanted to try and get it cheaper, but I had to use treated wood because it was outside. Otherwise, you'd have to buy normal wood and then keep treating it all the time. But this is already treated, so it saves it's half the battle. So I did pay the extra bit of money for that. As I said, now, so the kind of birds I'm looking to get are like finches, budgies, canaries, sparrows, Java sparrows, things like that. I've done a research, they can all mix well in aviaries. So the idea is this has got this space, as you can see, it's obviously dirty and things. I've just broken down cupboards and what have you. So obviously I'm going to cage this area off, tidy it up, cage it off, and then this is where there'll be the nest boxes. I am hoping to breed some. I'm not expecting to breed straight away. I'm obviously just going to get used to having the birds first and things like that. That's most important. I've been told, what I've read and seen is, don't expect to breed straight away and get results because you'll be let down all the time. So obviously I'm just going to get used to having the birds around. And obviously the more you get used to having them, the more you're going to get to know about them and the better you'll be off of breeding them. So I am thinking about having quails as well at the bottom of the aviary because they're very good at cleaning up any bits of food that the birds do drop. And so obviously that means we building a ramp up into these to give them an indoor space. So the hole will go roughly just below the main hole that's obviously not drilled yet, but it'll go, see all these electrics. See if you see any electrics as well, you've got to cover them all off, and obviously I'll box them all in and mesh them off as well so the birds can't get to any electrics. So all this will be boxed off and tidied up, and of course I'll have a bigger hole at the bottom for the quails to come in, obviously to have shelter and things like that. Now, that's about it on the inside. I'll now take you to the outside. All right, guys, I've just come outside now. You can see this sign was brought to me by my daughter and her boyfriend. Just a little added touch look for my lady. So I'll just show you, stand back and I'll show the outside area if I can. Right, so if you can see, obviously, as I said before, it's roughly 12 foot in length and it goes it's roughly 6 foot width. I've obviously done 2 doors to go in, and I've already put branches in there ready. So I basically go back to the panels. What I've done is, as you can see, if I just go to a joint, there we go. As I said before, the brackets are on there, and then if you could look around there, and there's a screw hole in there. Simple enough to put together. And as I said, this panel is, this is how I've done it. So 1 panel, 2 panels, 3, 4. So there's 4 panels to complete the length. Now what I've done to save money is I've obviously put it up against the wall of the shed and the wall that I have outside. This will save covering it in mesh, save you a lot more money and timber. Obviously you do have to have timber for the tops because you have to put the roof mesh on. So this is what I've done. I'll obviously show you inside in a minute. Now what I've done for the floor, I'm now going to leave the floor as it is. I'm not going to put any coating down on the floor because it'll be easier to jet wash out, give it a clean hose down. So because the floor isn't level, what I literally did was a trough of cement. I don't know if you can see it clearly enough, but yeah, let me see, try. There we are. I just done a trough there just to get it all level so it'd be easier for the panels to go up because the floor was so uneven. Obviously I don't care about the inside of the aviary because it doesn't really matter. So if you look at the side, now an important thing is to remember as well, no walls are straight. So when you put your panels up, don't be, like I had a gap. Look at the size of this gap here. There to there. As you can see, it widens from the top. It just goes to show that the walls ain't straight. So what I've just did is put a batten against the wall and then meshed it over. Simple as that. So that just makes it all nice and tight. So we're just going into the first door and then I'm going into the second. Okay, so what I've actually done, as you can see, I'll get to everything else that I've done in a minute. As I've said before, all I did was put a batten against the top of the wall. And then this wall then, as I said, saves you from buying more mesh and more timber. So as you can see, what I've also done inside the aviary is I've put just some fake ivy in there at the moment. As you can see, I've got it running everywhere just to make it look a bit more of a home for them, you know, rather than it being bare, and that's the way. So what I've also come up with the idea now, I'm going to put some planters in here just to give them, because I'm having quails now, they'd like to have some shade and some security. So I'm going to put some plants in and some small miniature trees. Again, I don't know the prices on them. I'm trying to look around to get the cheapest ones possible, but they may have to grow in time because you only buy them at certain, from, obviously not from seed, but just from sprouts, and then you have to grow them yourself. So that will take time to come. So as you can see, what I've also done as well now is put a lot of branches in already. Now what I've done with these branches, I've actually taken them from my friend's tree, my neighbour's tree. Now, if you look at putting branches into an aviary, a lot of them will say because they need to be treated. Now, what they mean by treated is 1 cup of bleach to free water, give them a good scrub, take all the bark off, white vinegar, and then soapy water, and then leave them dry. Now, this is to kill any mites or anything that may be little creatures that's left on them. But what I did is I used, now believe it or not, I've seen them use sandpaper. I've seen them use a little penknife to take all the bark off. It is time consuming, but as you can see, it is worth it. I may have too many in here. I don't know. I may have too less. I don't know. As I said, I'm a novice. I've no idea. I've just looked research. So what I actually used from a neighbour of mine is a small little axe that they paid £2 for. That was absolutely fantastic. It's the best thing to get the bark off these. And what I've done then is rub them all down, because when you take the little branches off, you have little nodules but really sharp, like one by here now I haven't taken off. So what you do is sand it. I've just sanded them all down, and that's the result I've got. And I've obviously covered some in fake ivy just to give them obviously some to make them feel a bit more homely. Then basically that's the word I'm looking for. As you can see, the floor is a bit of a mess at the moment. It needs tidying up and things, but there's still a lot more work to do. The hole to the aviary to go inside to the shed will be going there, so it's more or less dead center, and that will be the hole where the birds will fly in and out then to the inside space. And then below that I'm going to have a little ramp going up to another hole for the quails to go back and go inside. So that's basically as far as I got at the moment. And as I said, any questions, just leave any comments below. I'll try and answer them. Any tips you can leave me, even better, I'd be most grateful. As I said, it's just simple as the roof. We just put battens across and then just meshed it all, just plain and simple. And I bought a staple gun and thing. As I said, I try to keep everything as low cost as I possibly could. As I said, you can give me maybe more tips as into how to keep the cost down, or things that maybe I need that that I haven't got and things like that. So basically the tools you're going to require are, you will need a staple gun with staples obviously to put the mesh on. You're going to need to buy some screws, enough to do all the joints of the aviary. You're going to need those little brackets. Now if you just shake the aviary, it just doesn't move. It's absolutely solid. So this is why I put 2x2 timber in. You can use smaller ones, it's up to you, but obviously because I've got such a large space, then I wanted to make it really sturdy. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, I've been told. You make your aviary the way you want to make it. So this is the outdoor, and obviously I will show you my next video when I obviously make some more progress on the inside. I'm just waiting to buy, and obviously you have to, I think I've said this before, you have to buy treated wood for the outdoors. Inside it'll cost me a bit cheaper because I don't need treated wood, because it's all isolated and dry. So that's it guys, that's as far as I got. So please just leave any comments below if there's any tips you'd like to give me, or is there any questions you'd like to know, and I'll try and answer them the best I can. Okay, bye for now.